Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are going into the second semi-final match of the day, and this will be between the two infamous teams that are going to be Infamous Spectre and Infamous Legion. They came out of both their respective brackets, the number one seed, making it through to this stage of the competition, but we will have to see one of them go out today. It's some of the highest level of competition we've had so far. We did just see Infamous Stigma go through first team into the finals. Hunter's Ace will be going into the third and fourth place matchup that we'll see tomorrow. But right now, it's going to be Spectre against Legion. I'm Denier, and joining me today for this match will be autocorrect.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. Looks like we got a fantastic game set up here. No surprises here. Infamous Spectre, Infamous Legion, the top seeds in the region, and also one of the top teams in the world as well. Castrol, Revenger X Zodiac, guys who I know very well, subbing in Rascal Jor in the lineup today. For Legion, we got Cassandra, who's very well known by everybody, having broken into the scene with Infamous back in the World Invitationals last year. Spaghetti and Arctic Jelly, who's going to be subbed in by Firm Swift. What are your thoughts on the games today, Danny?
Well, one of the things I've seen so far is that a couple of these infamous teams, they've seen a lot of easier matchups in the first few rounds. Like Firm Swift
Right.
on the support has been playing with like Arden with a Sorrow Blade and a Tornado Trigger and things like that. We need to see them playing much more seriously today. They know exactly what each other is capable of. They know exactly that one small mistake is going to snowball it in the enemy team's favor. So they're both going to be playing much more carefully today, much more calculated. We'll see exactly why these teams are so highly ranked.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this will come back down to the bans and picks and drafts. And we've seen good teams, for example, in the last game with Hunters. We've seen really good teams and really good skill being penalized for not picking and banning the right characters and the right heroes. So I think a lot of this will come down to what they're able to do as far as the bans.
That's very, very true. There's going to be a lot of mind games around that. I'd say the first match is probably going to be whoever's planned more. Second match is going to be whoever can react better to what happened in that first. However, you can always plan out for what you think the enemy's going to counter with. So, you never know. Whoever's planned and looked at rosters and draft more might be able to take this one away simply through that.
Yeah, and they both play, they do internal matches. INF, does do a lot of internal matches against each other. So, willing to bet a lot of these guys know each other's playstyles, they know their picks. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with something different this time. Let's have a look.
Yeah, we are going to see the draft kicking off just now. So we start with the Fortress ban, which caused so many problems for Hunters in that last game. It's going to be answered by Legion with an Adagio ban potentially here by Firm Swift. Now, one thing I want to comment is that both of these teams made it this far. They both had to beat the number two seeds to get here. So, I mean, Infamous Spectre beat Mega Empire in their bracket. Infamous Legion beat Victoria's Secret in their bracket. So they definitely deserve to be here. It's not been a complete cakewalk. It's just that they've made it look so easy.
Yeah, and and a lot of this we could go, we could talk about, the competitive scene SEA and still growing and a lot of things like that. I think, Infamous has the advantage of being around the longest and kind of established himself early on. Getting a lot of talent is a big part of that as well. But, I think we're starting to see with Tesseract Esports coming along and trying to build up the scene, we're going to start seeing a lot more closer matches. So I would reckon this is going to be the last big major tournament that we see this cakewalk from INF, I would say.
I would definitely agree. They've had the benefit of being around long enough, being here before like the segregation of these of the servers, because SEA was the first server to be around. They got a few players who are still here, played on the beta over a year and a half ago now. So they have the benefit of playing for so long that they have the game knowledge and the mechanical skills that keep them up here in this the highest level of competition. But obviously with like I was saying, the segregation of these servers, China has their own one now, East Asia has their own. It's becoming much more concentrated, and I've seen a few individual players who are really skilled. So we'll have to see how teams can evolve and adapt and maybe recruit to compete with this infamous powerhouse so far.
Yeah, and definitely all the bands are now locked in. We've got Rev on the Vox, and Castor on the Koshka, and Rasco on the Catherine. with Firm Swift on the Arden, Spaghetti on his beloved Sky, and Cassandra on that lane Ringo. So a pretty good matchup here. Very strong from both teams, I think.
Spaghetti is definitely one of the ones I've been hearing as a very feared Sky player. He's a slippery character.
Yeah, and I think really what makes Sky dangerous is the mobility factor, the ability to kite around and focus on somebody. So when you have somebody like Vox who needs to stay kind of behind his front line, somebody like Spaghetti can just completely Surrey strike around the front line, around the two melee characters, and get at Vox really easily. Whereas on the other side, Ringo again on his side has to stay back and kind of because he's squishy and easy to get focused on. But Catherine and Koshka can jump in there very easily. They got really nice stopgap and stuns. So it'll be up to Arden to really kind of save him, keep an eye on Cassandra, keeping him alive.
Definitely. We do see, it looks like Sky and Arden are the first ones to finish their rotation. They're going to try and be aggressive off the back of this. And playing Sky into Catherine, you just see how Catherine's health gets absolutely melted. Halcyon Potion just saving her for now, though. It looks like they're turning onto the clock and Arden's come down.
Castro gets deleted and isolated there, but here comes Cassandra at TV1, but he's going to have that distance to get away from that and takes down Castro. Look at the melt on Rev. Spaghetti coming in. He's going to secure this kill. If he can get a couple more shots in. Not quite. He did get it. Oh, the Surge Strike comes in and he gets the kill. Oh, he locks it down. Amazing play there from Spaghetti.
That max range Surrey Strike, obviously Surrey Strike, the target lock doesn't last as long or doesn't have as long a range at the beginning as it does in those later levels. So deciding Surrey Strike right there, that was probably the max range he had left on it. And there's another fight going out in the jungle, and it looks like Koshka is the first one to go down again. Cassandra has rotated forward to help them, and Avenger X is just pushed away from this.
Yeah, you can see Cassandra there putting on 3-4 hits, and this is why a Vox versus a Ringo matching in the lane is so tough, because he's got a longer range than Vox, and you can see right there just why. I mean, he got like 5 free hits on to Vox, and he had to just kind of run away.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the Ringo has the early game in the lane, so he can rotate down better. And it being the battle of the early game junglers right now with Koshka against Sky, I mean, I'd say they're two of the most powerful junglers right now. And with the rotations from Ringo, it's just helping them guarantee the wins for the side of Legion right now.
Yeah, and again, I have to go back to the mobility of that Surrey Strike again, rotating around his target and ensuring he gets that barrage full on. One of the things you didn't see KLMPK or whatever his name was in the last game. Yeah, whatever his name was the last matches, I noticed he missed quite a few barrages, and it's so important that you get that full barrage on there because they will melt.
Yeah, well, there is a big difference in this match with this guy going Crystal. Weapon does require a little bit of a different kind of play around it, but obviously you still want to be landing the skills, same as most characters, and if you don't, and you're on such a skill shot dependent hero, you're not going to be seeing a lot of success. And it looks like Spaghetti is going to be taking down either Rascal or Infamous Castro here to begin with, really deep in the enemy jungle.
Look at that, and I really like what Spaghetti did there. How he just kind of peeled off between both of those guys and managed to secure both the kills. So he went for Catherine, and then he used the move speed burst from the basic attack from Sky to get around to Koshka as well.
Now, what I would say is that it all really hinges on Cassandra being so aggressive in the lane as well. If he wasn't, then there would be pressure from Vox rotating backwards, but because Ringo is pushing him so much under turret, he has no opportunity to go shop or to go rotate back to help. So it's always a 2-on-2, and just Spaghetti and Firm Swift are just so confident that they're going to win this jungle.
Yeah, and I mean, and really they set the tone from the beginning of the game, and that kind of let them gain some momentum there and some confidence. I think what you mentioned is really important. As a Ringo, you got to be able to bully that laner and prevent him from rotating down, and you can do that very well as a Ringo.
Yep, nice. It looks like there has been some good vision set in by Catherine so far, but they are just going to have to teleport home. They managed to get a couple of the front camps, but there isn't much else to gain from this, and they're now caught out in the middle of a very empty jungle.
He's going to dive in for the turn, and he gets the kill off of that basic attack. So a couple really good things there. One, Spaghetti using the basic move speed off of the minions to get into there, and then he got the Arden Vanguard. But it looks like Ringo goes down. Castro dives in to get that, and he goes down as well right in front of the turret. 234 damage on Spaghetti, but he's going to shrug it off, and look at the minions stacked up on that turret now already. It's only the 5th minute.
Yeah, I know, it's incredible. Spaghetti is just the MVP so far. Rascal is just can't go anywhere near him, and neither can infamous Castro because there's just Koshka getting melted every time she tries to jump on this guy.
Yeah, and it's really amazing because they don't have a stun. So Koshka, assassins when they jump into team fights, oftentimes if they're facing a Catherine, it's a hard because you can get stunned and then focus, but they don't have a stun here, and it's going to be Castro versus Spaghetti, who's going to take this 1v1. Castro just needs to get away from that barrage, but running right into Firm Swift, who ignores Castro to run away and kind of regroup here as they're a little split up right now.
Yeah, everyone's just kind of ignoring each other, saying, "I really want to be here. I'm going to ignore everything until I get there." And that was in favor of Spectre right there because they did manage to pick up an easy kill onto Cassandra.
And that's an important thing to remember is even though you get pushed and even though it looks like you're falling behind, take that advantage to go to an area of weakness. So if they're pushing on your side, then fine, go to the lane, try to get that kill in the Ringo. Super long max range merciless pursuit there from Rascador. Just managed to get it, however, didn't even need to use boots. But Ringo is actually not overextending there. He's pretty safe in that area, but they just really, really wanted him bad.
Yeah, what I like from the Ringo so far in his build path, though, is he has gone for those tier 2 boots. So even though he got killed, he can get back to the lane really fast. He's going to be able to rotate down as much as possible. And with Revenger X still only sitting on a heavy steel, and I think that's tier 1 boots. I can't really see. I think it's tier 1 boots down there. But he's just not going to be doing as much for his
Tier 1
team in the
boots.
jungle. Yeah, he's not doing as much for his team in the jungle as Cassandra is, who is now pressuring the turret alone.
Yeah, and then a lot of this versus just the farm. He's been free to kind of farm, but Spaghetti goes down. There goes the ultimates go out. Koshka, young kind of presence, goes in, but Castro goes down as well. And Rev is getting kited down by Cassandra, who's going to take that kill there. And he does. First in on Rascal Jor. Look at the damage, even from Arden there
I know.
onto Rascal Jor.
But did you notice that the Koshka locked herself down inside the death from above? I mean, that was incredible from Spaghetti to manage to get that skill exactly on top of himself just as Koshka was jumping in. So it guaranteed a kill in her favor, even like 2 or 3 seconds after he was dead.
Either he's got amazing reflexes or he realized that Koshka was probably going to go on him right away. And, maybe it is a little bit of both. But I think part of it too is again it's a familiarity with how each other plays that kind of gives him advantage in certain situations. I feel.
Yep, I also think that Spaghetti playing Sky, one of his most comfortable heroes, probably, you're right, it's probably like a reaction thing where I've done this before, I know what Akashi's going to try and do.
Yeah, and but to be fair, Koshka, that was pretty much the right move from Koshka. So the problem is that you're isolating yourself, and if you don't have Rev coming in right behind you to provide that focus fire, then it's going to be really tough because you're just going to get yourself isolated.
Yep, it looks like Legion have started this goal main, but they've got all the members of Spectre coming around. It looks like they do secure that, and Castro is going down very, very fast. Firmswift has to boots away, but Spaghetti does manage to pick up that kill very, very
You notice
easily at the end.
257 CP damage in on Koshka in that last, but the cheeky potential steal from Rascal Jor almost had it, was just a half a second too late there on that to get that steal. That would have been pretty awesome.
If you were watching, you did notice that Legion managed to hold on to the biggest chunks of their damage for that last moment. So the goal main was going down very slowly until the last few seconds where they just instantly took it with as much burst as they could.
Yeah, look at Rev versus Castro. Rev is going to lose that battle against Cassandra, mainly because of the Arden Vanguard music. And Castro comes in a bit late, going to get the kill on Cassandra, but now it's 1v2. Look at their yummy Captain Frenzy on Spaghetti. Who's going to go down? It's 2v1. Castro getting away, but hitting the full barrage, gets melted. That's an ace.
Wow, very first ace of the game so far, and that's already with one turret down. I mean, 9 minutes in, I think things are looking really good for Legion so far.
13.2k to 18.6k, 16 to 4. Look at the time, as you said, is 9 minutes in the game. They've had full run Spaghetti and Firmswift, full run of the jungle. They've been stealing so much gold. Spaghetti just absolutely melting Koshka, taking away any early game advantage. This is going to be tough for Rev and Castro and Jor, but it's not over till, it's over.
Poor Koshka on 23 CS though. I'm surprised she's even managed to finish an Aftershock. It's a really rough start.
But she's got the Aftershock. So now I think what they need to do is they need to focus in on their teamwork. They need to focus in on their engagements now. You know, if your build's not going to muster up to what you want it to do, then you got to work on your teamwork, and you really need to focus in. Pick who they're going for, Spaghetti or Cassandra.
Look at that immediate burst onto Revenger. They're already chunking him down a little bit with 2 shots. I mean, if all-out teamfight breaks out, they're in trouble, especially with Cassandra poking them down so much right now.
Yeah, his build, I mean, he's a primary damage dealer. I mean, he's got the Sorrow Blade and he's got a Lucky Strike, and his double down heroic perk gives him an automatic crit. So there comes the Hellfire Blue in on Rev, 365 damage. He's got to peel off. That's leaving 2v3. Spaghetti's also quite low as well, but he's going to pick up that healing minion, and they're going to try to take down his turret.
Yep, just look at Cassandra using the max range right now to deal with anyone from Spectre that comes near him. Turret goes down, Spaghetti's still alive. There comes the Gauntlet, with Castro being the only one trapped inside, and Revenger X joining them just at the wrong time. He's probably going to go down as well for his efforts here, but Spaghetti is very, very low, uses a reflex block. Suri Strike manages to just chunk it down low enough for Ringo to finish it off before the end there.
And it was really key, a couple of things there. Good recognition from FirmSwift to get the Gauntlet in on Koshka, to separate Koshka. Koshka out of position in that aspect, actually. Shouldn't be that pulled that far forward. Cassandra also getting a nice Achilles heel onto Revenger X so that he couldn't actually chase Spaghetti too much, because he got the kill in the end, but it resulted in his own death.
Yeah,
so a lot of good things there.
Same again from Spaghetti with the last minute reactions to secure a kill. And there's FirmSwift showing off a little bit by going through the wall with the blood for blood.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's amazing how much damage that Stormguard banner does. I'm always amazed. You know, he can 1v1 almost anybody with that Stormguard banner and his Vanguard.
Yeah, Arden is definitely a very strong offensive support, same as Fortress. Provides a lot of damage as well as utility.
So they spent all their abilities to trying to get Cassandra down. They can get this turret, but they have to be really careful. Spaghetti's low because he took a little bit of hits from that gold miner, so they're going to take down this. But look at the Suri Strike. He's looking for Castro coming in.
And it looks like Revenger X is still using a lot of doing a lot of damage from the sidelines there. Spaghetti is going down, but there's a fountain, and with the death from above manages to zone them out, and it is FirmSwift on top of Revenger X. Can he finish this off? There's a stun from Catherine, but he's using the Vanguard to try and get close.
Range with a punch. Oh, he's gonna hit his boots. Oh, he gets a punch in, but it's not enough.
He has nothing left now. I think that's gonna be it. He was stacking.
His Vanguard is up and his punch is up, but he's too far away. They're gonna go for Jor instead. Jor's no more energy now. Here comes Castro in trying to get the kill. Oh, really good gauntlet there. Almost trapped Castro. That would have been a fantastic counterplay. But you know, hey, the tank goes down, but the damage dealer survives. And that's exactly what you want to happen in that situation.
Yeah, when they were defending, when Spectre were defending that second turret, we did actually see Revenger had to body block for Catherine at one point, which I was going to point out, but things just started picking up so fast. Catherine was getting absolutely chunked down by the forward barrage, and Revengers had to step in front to try and block some of it before they lost Catherine.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Sky, and one of the reasons why people called Sky, you know, really, really OP earlier when they hadn't made any changes to her, you know, 1.12, 1.11 was because, you know, you have these heroes, these supports that are supposed to be really tanky, like Catherine and like Finn, but then you get that barrage and you eat that full barrage with the CP Sky, and it just negates all of that, you know, sort of, you know, attributes of that tanky support, and you're seeing it right there.
Definitely. I mean, it's one of the hardest things to deal with when you're playing support. Ooh. Koshka just making it away in the invisibility of the bush. Things are really close here, and Spectre are just holding on by the skin of their teeth. They still have that base turret. They've not managed to... Legion haven't managed to crack into the base yet, but with another gold mine going over in their favor, it looks like Spectre have an uphill battle ahead of them.
And, you know, and that's another reason why when you have to front a lot of this damage, that's also another reason why you're seeing Rascal Joy here actually overdrive his Stormguard, his B skill, so that he can give reflect back 25% plus damage back to the enemy.
Now, I'm not sure about that one. I know the maxing B is the better decision right now, but against the Sky, that's not going to be doing a lot, because since all the damage goes underneath the bubble anyway, if she could stun more often, that might have been a better counterplay idea, because then she can chain it with Koshka jumping in. The Gauntlet does come down from Arden.
Oh, just Rascal Door goes down. Look at the Mount Rev just goes down, and a lot of that actually comes from that crit now from Cassandra as well, rocking the Titan's Monocle and the Sorrow Blade. So you've got two really massive damage deals right now. You know, this is going to be really tough Castro's going to go down, and that's going to be GG.
It is Cassandra in the backline here doing all the work. I mean, Spaghetti and Firmswift were just zoning out, but Cassandra's the one taking down turrets, killing anyone that he decides to turn on. It was just like, oh, you've been dealing with Koshka for a few seconds, let me turn on them and just kill him for a second.
Yeah, and kind of ubiquitous back in the backline because in the beginning, the whole play was dominated by Spaghetti, but then it's kind of shifted towards the end where once he locked down that Tyrant's Monocle and got the full crit with the Sorrow Blade, it was just pretty much he one Achilles shot and took you 50% health right off, and you could see that happening.
And just look at the build path for a second. Firmswift going with a signature move of having a heavy steel in his kit. And this is why he was being such a pest to the carries of Spectre.
Yeah, because he not only does he have that, but he also has you get a little bit of crit with your Blood for Blood, and also that Storm Guard. So yeah, but again, it comes back to just how much they're dominating that whole entire game. Spaghetti, man of the match in my opinion there because of his early dominance, just took Koshka right out of the game. Like we mentioned before, really struggling just to get that aftershock out with only 40 CS, not enough defense to cover anything, and absolutely melting from two really strong, heroes that deal damage. That Sky and that tornado.
Yeah, it was a really tough game for that Koshka. I mean, completely shut down by Spaghetti. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe try and force him out of that Sky pick. It was he's just so comfortable on it. Every time he even goes down, he managed to secure a kill off the back of it from like a last minute skill or something. So we do see another 15-minute game. It seems to be a signature move from Infamous to try and finish these games as near 15 minutes as possible.
It's actually a rule. If you can't do it, you're kicked out of Infamous, I heard.
Well, 1 second, they're out.
Next season, it's going to be a totally different team.
So we are just jumping out right now. I will begin the second game as soon as possible. Now, on the topic of trying to get Spaghetti off of Sky, do you expect to see that as the ban, or can you see the draft going slightly differently?
I mean, I think they should. I mean, it's not just this game that they've seen this happen, right? It's every time Spaghetti has gotten that Sky, So I imagine Sky and there's still there are more counters in my opinion to Koshka than there are to Sky right now. I think if they can get they ban the Fortress, they ban the Sky, they use Koshka open, so whoever gets Koshka that pick first, they're gonna need to find another counter, an early game counter. So CPBF, they have to figure it out. Glaive, yes, Glaive, yep, and so they're gonna have to decide. So I do put the momentum slightly in the favor of whoever locks in that Koshka first, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I think they're going to need to ban that Sky, but then you got to wonder: have they got a second game plan? Have they got like the Fortress open that they could go for, or something new that they could probably pull out just now? It's a really good time when they really have the chance to secure this, and they have the first pick, so they get to decide how the game's going to run. They get the two picks in the third phase of the draft to counter the first two of Spectre.
Well, I mean, if this was East Asia region, you would see an Ozo come out, a CP Ozo, and he's super, super strong in early game. Don't think we'll see that in Southeast Asia, but that's something that has also been countering Koshka a lot recently.
Well, we are going to see a roster change just now. So it's
Zodiac
Infamous Castro, yep.
Rion. Yeah.
So it's Rascal Jor out, KZ Rehan in, and Zodiac in as well for... I can't remember who we had just now, who he's swapping in for, sorry, but it's going to be Revenger X,
Rascal Jor,
KZ Rehan, and Zodiac now.
Yeah. So they're replacing Castro and Rascal Jor for Spectre. I believe Rev is still going to stay in.
Yep, he's just, I think, restarting his device just now. Apologies, everyone. It's just a short break just now. We will get the second match kicked off as soon as possible. I know we want to see another one. They have been very fast matches today. So although there is a lot of intricacies to the early game team fights, it's all decided within the first like 10 minutes, possibly even, when one team starts getting the upper hand.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that rules of economics, right? You just you just get your build first, you get your items first, you steal the jungle, and especially when you're facing characters like Koshka and these other characters that really need to rush that aftershock, which is one of the third most expensive ability item with around 2,600 gold, then it's tough, and that's why maybe you see the Spaghetti playing really, really aggressive there in the early game because he knows if he can lock her out of that, and he has the upper hand later on.
Yep, we are starting the second draft here, and it is a Koshka ban from Legion to begin with. So what you were saying was whoever can secure that Koshka is going to be having the upper hand. They're just taking that away from Spectre, who are probably going to be going with the Sky ban, leaving Fortress open, which is what I expect. Oh, but it's an Adagio first pick. That's surprising.
Yeah, and in the last game we were talking about, you had mentioned Saw being a good counter, and that's actually very, very true. Saw is a great counter to Fortress. So if somebody does pick up a Fortress here, I wonder if we'll see that Saw. It doesn't look like it.
I would see Ringo Fortress being the best choices right now. And we do see the Fortress lock in, especially against the Celeste. Oh, but it's Vox. It's probably going to be that weapon Vox. Looks like Adagio support possibly. But we did see last time it was the Fortress going support, which worked very, very well.
Well, I mean, Fortress all he needs is a little bit of crystal damage actually, and he can still do quite a bit of damage when his Pack of the Wolves come out. So yeah, but I guess what they really want to do is maximize that as much as possible because they know he can carry them in the game in the late game once he gets enough crystals. So, and Adagio is strong in the early game as we've seen before. So, but I mean, they're kind of playing around with these tags here. So we're not quite sure yet because I don't think Spaghetti is going to do Rome box. So.
One thing I am slightly confused by though is Zodiac and having a Celeste, knowing the Fortress was still open to be picked, having a Celeste who doesn't naturally have attack speed in her kit or want to build any attack speed, it's not the best counter to any of the wolves. So she's going to be hoping that the Gauntlet and some AoE is going to be able to absolutely delete the side of Legion very early on, and then they'll deal with the wolves afterwards, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Celeste. I like Celeste a lot, but I found in a lot of games is that it's just so easy to focus her because she doesn't have that high mobility, and also her actual damage has been nerfed quite a bit in a couple patches, so she's not carrying as much damage right off the bat in the mid to early game, like say a Scarf, which is what a lot of people are going with instead of a Celeste these days. But again, against a Vox, so a weapon Vox, right? It's interesting. It's interesting. But here you're seeing Zodiac go straight at Spaghetti right away because that's slow weapon speed from Spaghetti because she's got those Helios and it's 1v1 if they're going straight at each other. She needs to pop a Supernova. She doesn't get it off and Spaghetti takes the upper hand. But look at the minions trying to knock him down now. He's got to be very careful here.
There's all the battle of the basic attacks there. I don't think Zodiac managed to land many of the Helios just there, but it is Firm Swift going in onto KZ Rehan and not coming out the best out of that. Cassandra obviously does have a lot more sustain for him being an Adagio, but it looks like they're managing to force them out even after dealing the most damage onto Firm Swift.
And you didn't see him pop that damage buff and go at him like you've seen other Adagios do. So that was a bit interesting. They just kind of limply followed behind them until they got out of range.
Yeah, I do like that they put Fortress on the support role again. He is, like you said, very powerful even with a small amount of damage. It's the wolves being out causing such a nuisance that are the biggest threat. Spaghetti taking a lot of damage from the Supernova there, but what you were saying earlier was very interesting because I feel like that's what a lot of people think, that Celeste's damage did get nerfed. She just has to be much more skilled to get the same amount of damage as she did before. It's still there, you just have to do a lot more to unlock it.
Well, they took down some of the scaling damage on each Helio, and they increased the Helio drop speed a few patches back.
Yeah, but the damage from exploding them into novas is actually increased. So if you have the skill to manage to pop those, that's a heck of a lot more damage, and it's the AOE that you want to be dealing.
Yeah, but it takes more skill to do that though, because they have to walk in that range. Whereas
That's
when
exactly
you
what I
get
said.
overdrive on your A skill, then you can just pop them and poke them, and that's why people perceive it as a nerf.
And it looks like Firmswift and Cassandra have actually successfully invaded onto Revenger and KZ Rehan here in the jungle, but they're all trying to fight for that last minion. It looks like KZ Rehan was one to pick it up. Zodiac has teleported back to help him out.
Oh,
Gets
the
a
double
double
stun!
stun!
Oh, where's the afterburn? 8 seconds out, but they do lock down Cassandra. What a critical core collapse stun on that. Did you see the boots being hit and the core collapse coming out? So Zodiac already showing the naysayers Celeste is not out for good. Celeste is here.
Yep, I'm really excited to see how she can do once she gets a little bit more damage into this game, hits that level 8 and gets to start zoning people out. I mean, Celeste is a little bit of a sleeper OP character right now. She's not OP, sorry, but she's just been in the shadows, not played a heck of a lot, but she hasn't been changed, so people just forget exactly what she can do.
Yeah, and then, it's funny because in the past, because when I shot tested the SEA tournament a few months ago, there was a lot of SEA Celeste players, and they're playing Celeste a lot. Here comes a really nice afterburn. Look at the double stun. Oh my goodness gracious.
So
Spaghetti,
perfect.
Spaghetti. A little bit too
Afterburn.
overconfident from last game's success? What do you think?
Afterburn into core collapse, under turret. I mean, you can't ask for more from an easy gank like that.
So easy. They handed it to him on a silver platter. He had no vision in that lane bush. He had absolutely no idea that they were coming up. But you gotta feel that that's gonna happen, right? I mean, you play this game long enough, you kind of develop those senses, right? Where, okay, I'm kind of sitting here a bit too long now. I think it's about time to pull back.
Yep, I even saw some people in the chat just being like, overstay.
Overstay.
Yep.
Hashtag overstays. But Spaghetti is one of those players where even you look at Nishi for Ardent in the last VIPL season. He got ganked several times, like 4 or 5 times by overstaying. I mean, the nature of these guys and the level that they're at is the early ganks are kind of not a big problem for them. They'll shrug it off. Here comes Zodiac really cheekily coming down the front side. Spaghetti not doing anything to keep him away. It's a 3v2. Cassandra peels off one way. Firmswift peels off the other.
Zodiac really caught out right now though. Cassandra's still surviving thanks to the healing buff, but Celeste does manage to take him down just before the end there. But with Firmswift and Spaghetti on his heels, Revenger isn't going to make it out of this one either, I don't think.
No, there's that speed buff from Swift, and goes cheekily tries to put a last minute little love tap on Spaghetti, but doesn't do anything. And they're gonna push this turret, I think.
Yeah, I think there's. It was quite fun from Revenger using the benefit of the wall, jumping right there to try and get away. But I mean, he was caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. Oh, look at that Sonic Super. Oh, the speed buff, the double. Oh, the miss with the core collapse, but he still has a lot of damage on Spaghetti. The turret, Acro. Oh my gosh. Tiny tick left. Here comes Rev.
If only KZ Rehan was level 6.
Oh, the juke. The juke. Who gets a kill on that? And there was a Rehan or Zodiac.
Yep, once again, they're just getting, like, not caught out, but there's just really good team play, guaranteeing kills here, saying, like, you go up, I'll go down, you go left, I'll go right. Like, we're not letting this guy escape. It's a free kill.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely communicating well here. I mean, this is like a totally different team. Well, I mean, it almost is. But just the teamwork and the synergy here is just so much better than the last game, And whereas on the flip side, you're seeing Spaghetti kind of pulling out, and I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. They're still doing really well. 10 almost virtually staying a little bit more gold. They're going to come back here once the Pack of the Wolves hits level 6. I think it'll make some difference in some of these team fights. But they need to leverage that now. They need to take this team fight to them.
Yep, obviously Celeste is still level 6, so not level 8 yet, but everyone does have ultimates ready except the supports. So both of them are wanting to get something going. Adagio hasn't got the best ultimate in the game, I'd say. It's not one that you need to leverage to get the benefit of out for the rest of the game, but with Celeste, she can really snipe out if they get a good fight that's disengaged. She can snipe for an easy kill afterwards, so again, not.
And I think you got to look. I think you got to look at the builds too. Is both the damage carriers, Rehan, Spaghetti, strong damage builds for weapon, but very little defense. Rehan going for that early tension bow means that proc damage is going to do a lot of damage on his focus target, but only an O-cart, whereas Spaghetti just picked up.
Sorry, I think you caught out a little bit there. I was just about to say the exact same thing. Obviously, Legion do have a fountain on their side, and Fox is managing to pick up that kill on Celeste, and that's the benefit that Legion have. They've got a much better diving comp that they can go straight for that Celeste. Spaghetti taking a lot of damage from Rehan right now, and the fountain gets popped to keep him alive. The turret is incredibly low. Firm Swift taking a lot of damage from that. Cassandra going for the ultimate right now, stuns 2 of them.
Oh, Rev just gets taken out. But look at their oh, look at the Solar Storm almost taking out Firm Swift from the spawn.
I think that maybe just zoned them away from the gold mine as well. But Spaghetti taking out KZ Rehan right here. I think that was definitely another overstay.
Rehan.
Oh dear. All 3 members of Legion rotating up towards the lane again here. I think they might want to be picking up another kill on Zodiac. They realized how easy it is to dive, but instead they're just zoning her away and going for this gold mine. Zodiac does have the ability to apply that vision though, and here she is trying to get the gold mine steal.
Oh no. No, they didn't get the steal.
Doesn't manage to get it. No, it was the Adagio securing it, so that was incredibly close. I saw the Helio drop as the health was like so low. I thought she had it.
Yeah, me too. I thought she had it as well. But wow, what a great attempt from Zodiac. I mean, wow. I'm really, really impressed with the Celeste play right now. Just everything as far as movement and the timing. Really, I think, Zodiac's just got to get a little bit more support here into some of these initiations. I think he can carry a lot for his team.
I think they just need to take the fight to Legion right now. They do have a really strong hero comp right now. Glaive does have the tension bow. There comes the afterburn to knock Firmswift back, but Core Collapse does manage to catch him out. Here comes the Gauntlet as well. The fountain has been popped, and Firmswift does look like he's going to be going down. Wait for it from Bucks. Only manages to push them away from getting 2 kills out of this.
Yeah, I don't think they should have backed off from this. I think they should have just kept on taking on Spaghetti. I mean, that wait for it didn't do much at all as far as damage wise.
Cassandra coming in at the back as well with the buff onto Spaghetti, dealing a lot of damage onto KZ Rehan, but Cassandra is very low from taking the minion mine by himself.
Oh, the Spaghetti gets, nice take from Rehan. Wow, the range from Glaive is actually surprisingly one of the better ranges of any melee hero, actually. So it's quite, here comes the Solar Storm! Oh, just clips Cassandra, but it's not enough, but here comes a nice block on the afterburn. The minions have been aggroed. Both go down, Glaive and Cassandra go down, but it's Rev versus Firmswift. Where is Zodiac? He's coming up. Rev is going to bait him into that, and Firmswift's going to knock you off.
Yeah, without any speed boost there, and with Celeste having a Frostburn, I'm surprised they didn't chase that kill onto Firmswift there. It could have been a very easy pickup. Arden does have the fountain now, so team fights will be a little bit more even. I'm not surprised they've been avoiding so far without the benefit of a fountain on their side, but Zodiac is getting dived again, doesn't have the turret for protection, and there's the core collapse as Glaive comes in, but it's a block by Spaghetti, and Spaghetti taking a lot of damage from the turret and Glaive. I think the fountain just managed to save his life just there, and KZ Rehan does have to back off with the wolves and the attack of the pack being released.
It was a little bit interesting sort of walkabout play there from Zodiac, just not really doing any hits onto Spaghetti, but I think what he's trying to do is bait him in, but a really nice reflex block on that afterburn from Rehan, so good play from Spaghetti there.
Yeah, I think Spaghetti managed to pop the reflex block, and it blocked maybe both the core collapse and the afterburn. I think the core collapse might have missed, but it was definitely a well-timed block.
Yeah, and you're seeing he's going to breaking point with the Sorrow Blade, which is, we don't see that too often now with Foxes these days. We're seeing, prior to that, we were seeing a lot of Sorrow Blade, Tyrant's Monocle, Tornado Trigger builds. But this breaking point, because, he's pretty confident, I believe, in the way his team is helping him, that he's going to go for this sort of proc-based build.
Yep, I think it's definitely so that he can deal with KZ Rehan, who's diving in, and then turn his attention onto Zodiac while he has some breaking point stacks. So, I mean, KZ Rehan doesn't have armor himself, Zodiac doesn't either, so when Spaghetti does manage to get onto either of them, he'll be building up stacks so fast. I mean, look at that, 6 stacks already, and the fight just broke out. He's up to 10 already, and he's going to be able to try and get out of this gauntlet, but gets killed by KZ Rehan. Cassandra does use the Adagio's ultimate, doesn't manage to stun anyone though. Firmswift's left very, very low, and I think KZ Rehan is going to be trying to get this kill. Boots activated on back of Afterburn, but he's going to be getting killed thanks to the fire from Cassandra.
He waited for the reflex bot to get over to get the stun off, and what resulted was that Firmswift got 2 free auto attacks on him and killed him.
I know, wow, what a turnaround.
So the action is flying hot and heavy here. They got to be a little bit careful not to overstay, but they've successfully cleared off all the farm. Cassandra's got no energy, so it has to back off. But wow, so much action happening now in this game. What a game we have.
I mean, this one is not going to be a 15-minute game. They only have 2.5 to finish it off. Zodiac is caught out a little bit trying to secure some lane farm. She's going to get starved out right now, which I think is the worst part. Spaghetti has started Goldmine, but here comes KZ Rehan on that glaive. Really wants to try and
Oh,
steal this.
he's gonna get it!
And Glaive manages to
He's
steal the
gotta
Goldmine, but
get
it's
it!
going to die for his efforts. Zodiac is just trying to back off just now, but with all the wolves on top of her, she's not going to be able to do it. And there's the core collapse just missing, but she goes down and gives away the ace. I think that was not really worth it. They managed to get the Goldmine, but they're going to be giving up a turret and 3 kills probably.
Yeah, yep. And here comes Cassandra in on that, and the turret's doing some significant damage there, 626 on the last shot, but with it now going on somebody else, they're going to take that. So they got the ace and they got the turret, so that's a lot of gold that they gave up. So yeah, I'm not sure if it was worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was good aggro juggling from the turret there. You saw FirmSwift backing off as he was getting low. There they are jumping onto Celeste again. It's always the targeting. Spaghetti does manage to build up a few stacks onto Arden. He's on 5 already. He does get afterburnt into the middle of the turret, and there's the Solar Storm going through all 3 members. Spaghetti left very low, but it's the Fountain saving him right now. The Gauntlet goes down, but doesn't trap anyone, and Arden's just going to teleport home. And I think they just need to back off from this.
That Gauntlet all just missed Spaghetti by a tiny bit. If it got him, it would have been totally different. Here comes away for it in on Rehan. Rehan afterburns away, but look at he is very low damage. Spaghetti does get core class, but Zodiac takes a long way around and is just going to get hit by Stormfish. He's going to go down, but there's a revive block saves him in the end because Rev used his Vanguard on himself to survive.
Just look at those health bars. Everyone is dicing with death right now. I think the best part is Legion have are leveraging their team comp so much better right now thanks to that Adagio. They're using his heals to sustain them through these nail-biting fights. If he wasn't there, I think the key component to the key team comps is Adagio right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the Shattered Glass locked into place, that means his heal and his damage buff are doing so much more. I mean, you can see the numbers, the green numbers coming out every time he heals. It's massive, massive amounts.
Yep. And that just means the buff is going to have so much power behind it as well. The Clockwork comes out, so he's going to be firing out heals left, right, and center. And with Fortress being such a powerful frontline, Adagio can even buff that Fortress if he can't reach them himself.
Oh, they missed a chance to steal that one. They could have because Fortress is far back, but the Pack of Wolves is out. Ultimates are all up.
I think they learned their lesson.
Worried about the Cassandra ultimate though, because Zodiac and Leon both have reflex blocks. So I think really the danger from Cassandra is what you said before: that heal buff, that damage buff.
Yep, I think Spectre learned their lesson from last time with going for goldmine steals. They took a really close fight, and they've really thrown it a little bit with that last play. Kraken is up right now, which is something we haven't seen so far today, is a Kraken attempt. And here comes Legion starting on it, and I don't think that Spectre are going to make it back in time. There comes the attack of the pack from Fortress. It does mean it won't be up for Legion in the next team fight, but Spectre are just having to deal with these lane minions, probably going to teleport home and get some infusions to try and deal with this Kraken push and stall out the game a little bit longer.
Yeah, everybody's double infused now, but I'm not quite sure it's a smart idea to use a Pack of Wolves there, because if they get wiped out before the Kraken gets into the base, they potentially can lose out any advantage with this Kraken. So they have to be careful here because everyone's infused. I'd be looking at the Gauntlet to come down and possibly trap somebody in to quickly get a kill here.
Yep, obviously if they had the Wolves, they could have easily dove onto Zodiac. And there's the Gauntlet coming down, catching FirmSwift. Core Collapse guarantees a double stun right there, but Spaghetti meanwhile is stacking up onto Revenger X in the front line. KZ Rehan has to back off as well. And it's just Spaghetti with that breaking point. I think that's a really good decision he made with his build path. There's the wait for it, but everyone manages to get back to the base. KZ Rehan is very low, uses the afterburn to try and put a little bit of damage, but meanwhile Spaghetti is wailing on that turret.
Yeah, I mean, they've been focusing on FirmSwift. Unfortunately, he's the only one that caught in that gauntlet, but there goes Zodiac down. But Rehan gets melted as well. Look at the breaking point stacks. 17 stacks, 18 stacks from Spaghetti.
And that is going to be Game 2 to Infamous Legion. Congratulations to them being our second guaranteed finalists of the day. And that is what we will have tomorrow, will be Infamous Legion playing in the finals. So congratulations to them and commiserations to Spectre. We will see tomorrow being the third and fourth place match will be Hunter's Ace against Infamous Spectre, and the finals will be Infamous Legion against Infamous Stigma.
Yeah, let's take a look at the builds here too, because it's really important to see how they've been building this out. Now, Firmswift going with that primary tank position there. No need really for an Atlas Pauldron, although might have been okay to slow down that attack speed from Rihan. But better to lock in the Warhorn and the Fountain and the Crucible first. Cassandra, also building out the alternating current because you want that early attack speed when you got that damage buff from Adagio, Clockwork, and Shatterglass means that his ultimate is up as soon as he can get it up. Spaghetti, strong weapon Vox build here. You saw him doing a lot of damage here, but mainly, for me, Spaghetti, Breaking Point came in very handy, but his positioning towards the late game was a lot better than the early game. Again, those early ganks not really having a huge effect on him because now he's able to bring the hurt with that Breaking Point. 18 stacks in that last bit there.
Yeah, I think he just utilized that incredibly well. He knew that Celeste was going to be trying to stay in that back line, and using his own range, he knew that Celeste couldn't reach him without coming forward. So he could guarantee free stacks on Rehan and Revenger, who were two melee heroes who he can easily kite if he needs to. And then once the opportunity arose and he had a few stacks, often he would build up 6 to 10 very, very fast in these team fights. He could turn onto Zodiac, who had zero armor, give him more free stacks and a very, very fast kill. So I think that was just so well played from Spaghetti again.
Yeah, I mean, we did see them bring a lot better game here in the second one here. Rihan with that early tangible, I feel didn't really leverage it too much. I didn't see the melting of it, and largely again, it's exactly what you were saying. The ability from Spaghetti to just kind of force them to peel out whenever Glaive tried to get in close, he just was getting kited down like crazy. And because they didn't have a direct stun with a Catherine, it was all up to Zodiac to get in. But the range on the core collapse is a lot less than it is on the Heliogenesis. So Zodiac having to come in with the core collapse meant that exposing herself to that huge proc damage from both Cassandra with the damage buff and Spaghetti, as well as even Firmswift can do some damage with that jump on his A skill and his bleed on his B skill. So Zodiac also, only running that reflex block, and I feel not enough crystal damage to make a big difference with the ultimate and the Solar Storm, which is what Celeste is really, really known for, is changing the tide of games by bombing in that Solar Storm and critting everybody down. But you need enough crystal power, and only a Frostburn there and the Eve of Harvest is not going to bring that amount.
Yep, they were diving so hard that Frostburn really wasn't doing a lot of work. Probably would have been better with like Shatterglass Broken Myth or Shatterglass Eve. Try and heal up while people are on top of you, or to zone out that Adagio a lot easier. I think her plan was to zone out Adagio with like her max range, but instead the Fortress was just the one being a nuisance, diving on her every single time, and she was blowing that core collapse on Fortress every single time, I'd say.
Yeah, and
But
some of the gauntlets too, I find a bit confusing. I didn't see them really making a huge difference in terms of isolating out the enemy. That last gauntlet there, trapping in Firm Swift instead of anyone else. He almost had a really key gauntlet in on Spaghetti just getting away. I think they need to leverage that a bit more because Spaghetti does have a tendency to kind of get pulled out of position. They need to really jump on that and really focus on him. I saw too much focusing in on the tank in that last few minutes of the game.
yeah, all credit to Spectre. They played such a strong game that second game. They managed to come back from a very difficult first game where they didn't do too well, lost in 15 minutes, and this one they went for a little bit off meta Celeste pick and really made it work for them. They managed to stall out the game a lot longer, had much more potential to win. I mean, at 10 minutes, it could have gone either way, and it was just one small mistake trying to take that gold mine that threw a lot of gold towards Legion to close that out.
Yeah, and I
So,
think a lot of that has come down to Zodiac's individual skill. And this is where you can kind of see individual skill level really making up for perhaps maybe not an ideal pick or an ideal build. And that's what you saw here, essentially.
yep. Now, what I will say is we will be back again tomorrow with the grand finals. So please join us again. We will see all these teams in different matchups, though, and we will see who will be that number one place going to VIPL and winning the Tesseract Qualifier League series. Um, Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, all correct, Shingy, Shen Shen in the background, and all the guys at Tess for again today for organizing. We will be back tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.